Gently tending to his crops, former ONR chairman Oswald relaxes on his agricultural estate in Gasparillo. 30 years after entering the political arena, he can still remember his early days as a teacher in 1981, just before his political career began. It is here he takes time and space to reflect.
I do a little backyard gardening for recreation on evenings. I come from work, I come to the back of the house, I put in a little pineapple. I have my little dasheen bush for callaloo on Sunday, and occasionally I get a lovely pine, as the case might be, a lovely fruit that the family could enjoy. I try my best, to take a little exercise in the backyard, and I occupy myself. It helps me to relax as well. Having come from a farming community here in Gasparillo, we always had agricultural produce around the house, so I just keep up the tradition.
But he didn't always have time to relax with his family on his agricultural estate. In the 1980s, he was called from teaching in Pointe-à-Pierre to the campaign trail.
I started teaching in 1970. And then I attended the Mausica Teachers Training College from 72 to 74. I got involved in the politics in 1980 when I joined the ONR party. And having joined the ONR party, I became the chairman of the Pointe-à-Pierre constituency. In 81, Dr. Williams passed on. And when he passed on, Mr. Chambers became the prime minister. He called the elections in November of 1981, and the party asked me to contest the seat. I took the opportunity to do so at that particular time. I had just joined the university. I was a university student, but I had to abandon my teaching job and contest the elections for the ONR. And as you are aware, all of us lost. I started at CLICO in 1982 after I lost elections in 1981. And I have been there ever since, with a little hiatus when I went to Parliament in 1986. For 5 years, from 86 to 91. I was at the Parliament as the Member of Parliament for Pointe-à-Pierre.
He did the best he could for his Pointe-à-Pierre constituency as representative of the NAR, the National Alliance for Reconstruction.
You get into politics in order to do things to assist the community. You try your best in different ways to assist the best way you can. During that time, I served in the Ministry of Education. That was my main ministry, and when Mr. Pantin was away or sick, I would act as the minister. I also served in the Ministry of Agriculture and in the Ministry of Labor. On one of the occasions while I was the acting Minister of Labor, I remember distinctly that NATUC was formed. For the first time, all the labor unions had come together under one umbrella body, and the government took notice of it because we viewed it at that time as it could be a serious threat, in the event that you had a major strike or any such thing. So we did discuss it in the cabinet level, at cabinet level. Well, by then you remember this was where I was in 1990, on the July 27th, when we got news that Abu Bakr had just appeared on the television.
mean he take over Parliamentary?
That is when the man went to TTT and said he had overthrown the government. And I say, fortunately, here I was when we got the wind by all the ruction that took place in the Parliament. I thank God for being on the outside. So I thank God that we had that appointment to have this haircut and throw me away from that bacchanal boy.
Under the NAR, Mr. Hemley built schools, a police station, telephone exchanges and various housing developments. He also debated the VAT legislation, and when it was introduced, he insisted that VAT should not be applied to school books.
I was acting Minister of Education when VAT was being introduced into the country, and I did argue at the cabinet meeting about school books being exempted or zero rated from VAT. That caused the cabinet meeting, along with Dr. Emmanuel Hussein, who had argued about drugs being zero rated as well. That caused a postponement of the cabinet meeting. We went to Chaguaramas and we had a special meeting to discuss those two issues in the main. And we argued for hours until finally the specialists who were brought in from New Zealand indicated that it would have been difficult to monitor and to police, as the case might be, and VAT was introduced on school books, much to my displeasure, but that is how cabinet works.
During his tenure, he achieved $34 million in benefits through many construction projects, providing much-needed amenities to his community.
We did build 2 telephone exchanges, one at Gasparillo and another at Claxton Bay. We did as well start the work at the Marabella police station. The main thing, in my view, was the building of the Macaulay Government School. Those were major infrastructure works in the constituency of Pointe-à-Pierre. Now, the telephone exchange I built in Gasparillo is up that way.
Mr. Oswald Hemley had been the representative of Pointe-à-Pierre, and Macaulay fell into that electoral district. We had 5 acres of land that was allocated for a primary school, but nobody, and I had been around for about 6 consecutive general elections, and no MP took it upon them to pursue the building of a school, although the land was there. With the intervention of Mr. Oswald Hemley, he started it off, and more so he was Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Education, so he had a big input. This is the kind of history of the thing, is that the school was initially planned to be up there.
To be on the hill.
On the hill there.
Yes.
But then when they do the feasible study, it was too costly. So you had to carry a road, you had to carry water, you had to carry electricity. But you went in to bargain for us and say, hey, I'm this is my constituency and I can't get a school, let us do something.
That is
and
right.
the talk came up that, hey, we could bring the school from up there down here. If we are looking at Mr. Oswald Hemley's tenure, having been wrong for so many general elections, he had been the best representative that we have had, because he was always willing to listen and not only promise but to act. So Ozzy was a boss, he was class in front of the people who did it. This is a major thing, apart from, like I said, sidewalk, apart from drainage and what have you. These were tangible, substantial, lasting things that this gentleman contributed towards the community of Macaulay. And not only Macaulay, remember he's Pointe-à-Pierre. Tower police station in Pointe-à-Pierre, it was always Hemley. Everything you talk about, and I don't know how he did it. He is a magician to do all of that.
Still resident in Gasparillo, Oswald Hemley continues to give back to his community and finds relaxation in nature on his farm. For him, politics meant being able to contribute to the development of the nation, helping to steer major decisions. He enjoyed 15 years in politics, in days of serving the people, and is glad he took up the opportunity when he got it. Now he can reflect on the fruit of his labor.